pace car pulls off. Crowd's coming to its feet. And here they come as race number 18 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series from Kentucky Speedway is green. Going 3 wide down the backstretch and into turn number 3, and Elliott Sadler takes the early lead.
Yeah, looks like it paid off for him taking that outside lane. Kind of had Carl pinched down low in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it just makes it difficult to stay in the throttle down there. You go across those bumps, back end wants to step out a little bit. Now you see a challenge. Elliott's teammate and owner, Kevin Harvick, trying to take over that second spot from Joey Logano.
Harvick in the 33 on the high side. And he does nose ahead.
Yeah, I talked to Kevin Harvick earlier today, and he said he's probably going to run a little bit higher line tonight, so I make that pass pretty easy on Joey Logano on the outside.
Behind Joey is the 60 of Carl Edwards, so he has dropped back several positions. And the first 4 trying to pull away. There is Kyle Busch on the right side of your screen. Remember, started back in the back of the field. He's already up to 34th. That's 9 spots.
Yeah, he's getting them 2 at a time right here.
Going underneath Eric McLaurin. It's great to see Eric back after that horrible crash he had into the wall at Daytona. Came away with a concussion, but he's back behind the wheel now. And Elliott Sadler, this looks a little bit like what he did last night in the truck race until he got caught out on the first caution. He had a really good truck last night.
Yeah, I like what, Kevin Harvick told him he's going to run on the top. There he is running dead on the bottom through 3 and 4. I think what he was talking about was mainly 1 and 2, that he really wanted to try to run a little bit higher down there because of the bump.
Boy, did you see the bumps there when the 60 of Carl Edwards took that low line? He was able to get through and pass the 20 of Joey Logano. He picks up 3rd.
Yeah, entrance to turn 1 is where the bumps are the worst. That's why you see a really wide arc by most of these drivers and staying up. You can get back down at the center of the corner if your car's working that good.
Let's watch how bouncy this is.
Does it feel? I know, Dale, you haven't raced here, but you've driven here. Does it feel that rough?
Yeah, it really does. And that's been over 4 years ago that I tested here the last time. So these guys are telling me that it's even gotten worse over that time. So you expected the racetrack to widen out, and I think it's going to enhance the racing here tonight.
Let's update you as a couple of cars have gone behind the wall. The 46 of Chase Miller has taken off. So has Dennis Setzer. The 72 of John Jackson is in pit lane as well.
I can tell you, coming over here testing as we move away from Elliott Sadler now, as these guys battle for 9th place right now, but Elliott being out front, we come here and test. He was always way faster than I could ever go around here. So when he got the pole here tonight, it wasn't a surprise. He really knows how to, or has a good feel for this place.
Ryan Scott coming up on Mark Martin there in the 32. Scott in the 11. And they're both chasing the 16 of Trevor Bayne.
I heard Mark talking about that the 3 races that he's run, his cars have been extremely loose. These guys get him tightened up just a little bit. He'll show how to get around here, too, even though he's never raced at this particular track.
Let's go back a little deeper in the field. That is 16th place, as we've got the 19 of Mike Bliss and the 64 of David Rudiman. And Rudiman really wasn't sure what kind of car he had because of the lack of practice time.
Yeah, and his first lap qualifying wasn't very good, so he just had to kind of get in a good, solid lap to get in the race of the second one. Imagine watch him go forward.
Here comes old age and treachery right around youth and exuberance, and Mark Martin takes the spot away from Trevor Bayne.
If I was Trevor, I wouldn't mind that pass. There's a lot to be learned right there in that spot.
And right in front of Mark will be his Turner teammate, Justin Allgaier. There you see him in the 31 going by. Not missing anything up front. Sadler's lead over Harvick has maintained the same distance.
Yeah, Harvick's not letting Elliott Sadler get very far out there on him.
Yeah, these two have opened up about 1.5 seconds over 3rd place. We mentioned Sadler's leading last night in the truck race. He led 47 in the first 51 laps, pitted, and then the caution came out, and that's really setting back.
Yeah, his truck got extremely loose last night. He had an opportunity late in the race on a restart in that truck. He got on the inside of Kyle Busch, got extremely loose then down in 1 and 2, and didn't recover from that. Ended up finishing 6th.
Staying here because we've got a challenge for the lead. Here comes Kevin Harvick on the inside.
I say, come on, boss man. I need to lead the most laps. Can't you ride back there a little while?
Yeah, bonus point. And the boss says, well, just follow me for a while. And boy, all of a sudden he pulls out by about 4 car lengths.
Now, he's probably showing Elliott. He said, you might want to work on your car a little bit. It's not quite as good as mine.
All right, let's check in on Kyle Busch. Remember, he started back in the back of the field. He has moved up to 21st, and we're working lap number 10. Give us an update, Dave Burns.
Marty, he's flying right now, as you might expect he would, through the back of the pack. Right now going to work, it looks like, with Mike Wallace there. But one thing that he may have trouble with is when he comes to pit road. Remember, to go to the backup car, these guys pulled a lot of things off the primary car, shocks, springs, sway bar, and they put them on this backup car. But one thing they couldn't get to were the electronics, including the tachometer. That's how he judges his pit road speed. Listen to the radio conversation between him and Jason Ratcliffe, his crew chief.
The dog tag's right. I'm not sure the tack is right, so I'll just have to judge off the cars in front of me whether I'm too slow or not. The tack's going to make me run too slow, I think. So better to be that side than the other.
Sounds like they're playing it safe for right now, but you know, Kentucky sort of has a reputation of having some speeding penalties. They've changed things since a few years back, but you never know what can happen, guys.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, and most of these teams calculate that RPM, so they don't really have to get that reference from the pace car. But in this case, they needed that. And with him starting so far back, you don't get to really start up behind a pace car to get that speed. And other cars kind of zig and zag, and they're cleaning up their tires, and it's hard to get a good pit road speed.
His last lap, 31.7 seconds. The race leader, Kevin Harvick, 31.4. And he has now got a 0.8 of a second lead over second place Elliott Sadler. There's your top 5 here at Kentucky after just 12 of 200. Welcome back to the NASCAR Nationwide Series here at Kentucky, the Feed the Children 300. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And you saw from the aerial shot, cars still trying to get into the racetrack. So for those folks coming to tomorrow's Cup race, allow extra time. So right now we're watching our race leader, the 33 of Kevin Harvick, as he is lapping the 52 of Kevin LePage. And that means 29 cars on the lead lap. Tim Andrews is out of this race, as is Harmon, Miller, Jackson, Setzer. Johnny Chapman is off. Let's ride on more with him. Watch him work this wheel.
Yeah, I find this shot real interesting. You know, just how rough this track is. You can see going into these corners, you can see how the driver's bouncing them down. But the one thing I'm seeing is just how much throttle he's able to carry. Yeah, you see just how hard he drives it in the corner. Right back to it hard.
Kevin Harvick, his next top 10 finish, he'll tie Tommy Houston for the most in Nationwide Series history at 198. And right now he's not only looking at top 10, Jamie Little, he's looking at first place.
Absolutely. Andy mentioned the boss man taking the lead from his driver, Elliott Sadler, but he is hungry, and so is this team. Kevin Harvick has not been at victory lane since Richmond last September, and this 33 team hasn't won yet either, as we have great side-by-side battle on the left side. But Kevin Harvick, the plan all along was to get out front in clean air. His crew chief, David Hyder, said this car handles so well in the out front in clean air, and that's where he is, guys, and he is checking out.
Well, Jamie, that win back in September, you talked about at Richmond, it ended a 15-race winless streak, and he enters tonight with, guess what? A 15-race winless streak. On board with Stephen Wallace. 12th place. He's got Brian Scott right in front of him.
We're talking about Kevin Harvick and how much he was in the gas, and all these drivers, the ones I talked to, were telling me as they moved up, they're finding a little more grip up there. And I think part of that too is this tire. We heard Joey Logano talking about the new tire. I believe it has a lot of grip, and it's changed things for a lot of drivers here, but it's enabling them to be in the gas a lot, and that's why we're seeing these high speeds.
Update you another car. The 03 of Scott Riggs is taking it behind the wall, and Jeff Green is also behind the wall. So update you on that end of the field. There is the front end of the field, and the lead is now 2.2 seconds over Elliott Sadler. Let's move back a little bit farther, and there are the Roush Racing teammates. The 6, as you're on board with Stenhouse, going around Trevor Bayne.
You can see Trevor just waving him by. At this point in the race, it looks like that Ricky Stenhouse has a little better car.
I've watched him a number of laps. Our monitors give the top 3 speeds, and he's been in that top 3 quite often, other than whenever he's making a pass on the car. So he apparently has a really fast car.
Pretty much all year he's had about the top 3 fastest car.
What a difference a year makes. Sitting on the pit box last year, wondering if he had a job. Right now he's in the midst of the point championship, and he's running in 7th position. Let's check speeds at the line, see who's really fastest. And on this lap,
so far, Carl Edwards.
Yeah, we've seen these Fords, the group of them, all be pretty close in there.
Now you see just how close the speeds really are. And there you see Brian Scott actually has the fastest lap that time by.
Kyle Busch has moved up to 17th, and he is running about 168 and change. So there is Kyle. Remember, started 43rd in the field, started last night in the truck race, went on to win. Can he do it again? He's still got a long way to go, but so do we. We've only knocked down 24 laps.